Hi, this is James Roten for Security Project and SEC110. Today we're going to be looking at Webslayer. It's a multi-platform brute force attack on passwords. It's an enhancement of the WFuzz, and it allows security testers to brute force attack any part of the HTTP request, such as the headers, authentication, etc. I've actually set up a website today, or a sign-in today, on just a regular website called onewed.com. They use basic authentication, so it's pretty easy to brute force the password if you know the username. It's very important with Webslayer that you know the username, or most of the time it will not work. You have to have that username to brute force it. So I've given myself a username today, or an email, vitademon@gmail.com. Now we're going to try to figure out the password using Webslayer. The first thing you need to do is make sure you're using Firefox, and you're going to make sure that you have the live HTTP headers attachment installed on Firefox to capture the HTTP request and any other requests sent to the website when we try to do a login that's going to fail. So we have live HTTP headers enabled. We're going to try to sign in just using 111111. Sign in. We don't want to remember the password. Waiting for OneWed to give us the unrecognized. And as you can see, the live HTTP headers caught and captured everything that we need to brute force the password using Webslayer. The part that we're looking for today is here, where it said the name vitademon@gmail, and then the password was 11111, which is wrong. So let's open up Webslayer. This is a beta version. I found it for Windows instead of using Backtrack, simply because with Backtrack I was using a VirtualBox, and the VirtualBox would not let me use Webslayer all the way. So I found the Windows version today. Alright, so Webslayer, basically the attack setup, we're going to start with the first thing, which is the URL that we're on. Just copy, paste the URL. The header that we're looking for is the user agent. We'll copy that block, post it here. And the data that we're looking for is the content where we tried to sign in and it failed. So let's post it there. The password we know is wrong, so let's delete that, and we're going to replace that with the word fuzz, which is the keyword that allows Webslayer to insert the payload that we're going to use today to try to break the password. The authentication is very important. This one does use a basic one, which is why I was able to get in so easily. The first thing you want to do is make sure that you have your username, semicolon or colon, and then fuzz once again, because fuzz is where we want to put in the password. Alright, so now that we have our authentication set up, our headers, and our post data, the next thing we want to do is look for a dictionary with common passwords. Now the program gives you tons and tons of common passwords, but today I've set up my own, and you'll notice here that it has a ton of passwords that it's going to try. So we want to select that specific dictionary, and we're all set. Alright, we are all set, so let's start the attack. Webslayer performs its pre-flight check. Everything's A-OK, and now we start the checking of passwords. There are 53 of them, so it'll take just a second to finish running. Just a little history. I found this application very cool just simply because it can try a ton of different passwords without triggering any kind of intrusion detection on a smaller website. A website with a lot higher security is probably going to trigger and maybe lock out a user that tries too many times. The specific website I chose does not have that feature, so we should be able to get in no problem. Alright, the attack is finished. Now let's analyze our results. So we see here we have the results. We have the payload it tried, We have the codes, the timer, the lines it tried, the words it tried, and the characters. And Webslayer is very cool in the fact that green means nothing happened, and if you scroll down, you'll see that we got a hit. We have a match. Whenever it's orange, that means it found a match for your password. You can see the payload was wedding. So let's try to log in with the word wedding. Password, WEDDING, sign in. We don't remember it. And we're in. Matt Smith is the name I made for this one. I made it very simple just to show the basic techniques with using Webslayer. It is very important to have the username, so you have to use a different program if you do not know a username to sign into a website you're trying to brute force attack. But this is just a general overview of how Webslayer can be used to brute force attack a website login. There is also a payload generator, which allows you to generate a bunch of different types of words, numbers, even credit card numbers and usernames to try to attack other websites that may not have as low a security as the one I've chosen for today. But this is my overview of Webslayer. We were successfully able to attack the website and find a password that worked with the user ID that I gave. Hope you enjoyed the presentation. My name is James Roten. Thank you.